Hi there, it's Robert Redfern on our Thursday night get-together. And tonight I'm in a slightly different place. I'm setting up in my office instead of sitting at the dining table. I mean, getting more professional. Anyway, the talk tonight is called The End. And it's not the end of the world. I know it feels like it sometimes, but it's hopefully the end of the lockdown. And I say hopefully because they keep threatening to bring it back if we don't behave ourselves. And so here in the UK, our masters are allowing us some freedom from house arrest. The grateful population is also being ordered to resist hugging friends and relatives. They are ordered not to stand within 2 meters from them here in the UK when they meet. And some stores and businesses are being allowed to open as long as they operate with people 2 meters apart. So in many shops, that means one person can go into the shop at a time and be served. And so most of them are going to be unprofitable. That's a fact of life. I mean, what you and I might call normality is still being banned, and the population is still being treated as suspect criminals regarding rights and freedoms. It's for their own good, of course, so the authorities say. But I can hardly believe I'm still writing these words after all these months, because I really thought it was just a bit of a problem and it would all go away, but it just seems to be not only staying with us, but it's doubling down with us, and that's a problem. Anyway, I have a worry, and the worry is this. It's not the pharmaceutical industry and it's not the authorities, it's the people. The people are actually believing in the authority. They're bowing down to them and thanking them for taking care of them. Every Thursday night, people come out and clap for the National Health Service. The National Health Service have almost done nothing. They literally threw everybody out of hospital, all the people with cancer and heart disease and old people, put them back into the old people's homes. And they really haven't had a very busy time at all with it. I have friends and relatives working in the health service, so they tell me. Now, I hear this is the same in hospitals in the USA. In fact, some hospitals are going bankrupt because they, on government instructions, they threw out, or the authorities, I'll say the authorities, they tell them to throw out or stop doing operations and everything. And so, you know, we have a really crazy situation going on, but people believe in them. They have been brainwashed to believe that they are looking after our best interests. And I'd say they're not. If the authorities were looking after our good interests, they would have not been listening to the pharma medical cartel people who are in the pay of the pharma medical cartel and stand to profit. And I call it the greatest scam in the history of flu outbreaks. Because it really is a flu outbreak. Don't you know, coronavirus is a flu. All right, they give it a new name, COVID-19, just to try to make you think it wasn't. But you know, any scientist knows that it is really just a type of flu. It's a bad flu. There was a bad flu in 2018, and nearly as many people died in 2018 as died now. But there was no panic. There was no closing down. We weren't under house arrest. So this is an opportunity they see to take control of our lives. And I don't know where the end game is, but, you know, we'll think about it. But if they really cared about the number of people dying, why did they deliberately allow people to travel from around the world to different countries, even after it had started? And why didn't they put them into lockdown when they got into those countries? Why did they not test them? Why were people travelling from China and also all over the place and just wandering in the country? And if that wasn't to help them spread the virus, then I don't know what was. So I don't believe the authorities care. If they really cared about the number of people dying, why did they not put the people who were at risk of dying, the at-risk people, obese, respiratory, diabetes, heart disease, other life-threatening, why did they not put them into their own homes or into hotels, sequester hotels, and have nurses looking after them there? They didn't. They just allowed everybody to mix. And of course, we know what happens. We know what happens to people in old people's homes, nursing homes, because people were going in there without any testing to see whether they were carrying a virus in there. And of course, see, the virus is a risk to people who are at risk of dying. It's not a risk to people who are healthy and never will be. And so, you know, there's so many different things here. But why did the authorities close people's businesses and livelihoods down and create possibly more deaths? Because people are committing suicide as well. Their businesses are failing. You know, they don't have money to spend. They've got families to look after. They're feeling really bad. People are splitting up because they're getting into severe stress in their homes. It's just crazy. And if they really cared, the governments really, really cared, and since they've got all this power, they've just demonstrated the powers they've got over us, why didn't they ban junk foods? Why didn't they ban sugar drinks? Make everybody healthy. Does it sound silly? No, because they could ban these things straight away. They could have banned them, but they didn't. And I say it's because they're not concerned about people dying. They're more concerned about getting people under their control with the pharmaceutical people are, who are behind the government. I call them the authorities, actually, for want of a better term. But they really could have given everybody in those homes and the at-risk people vitamin C IV, because 3.5 million people die throughout Europe from sepsis, and they allow them to die. They could give them vitamin C and save a whole bunch of people vitamin C, but they don't. They don't really care, the authorities. They say they do, they're protecting you, but their actions, judge a person by their actions, not by their words. It's a very old saying that. Judge a person by their actions, not by their words. They could have done all these things I'm saying now. They could have been giving people vitamin C, D3, zinc, selenium, magnesium. These things would have even protected the at-risk people. Never mind us. I mean, I take all those anyway. Every day, because I plan to stay around for a long time and let nothing other than the governments cause me problems. But the same government's authorities allow Goldman Sachs to advise the pharma medical cartel to stop researching cures and advise them to only research treatments. What? Why didn't the government arrest Goldman Sachs? That's a crime against humanity to tell the pharmaceutical industry not to research cures. They did it. I've got the documentation on it, and it's still available on the internet. They don't care. They don't care. Who knows what they're doing, and they'll care even less now. They found they can have so much power. Why did the governments allow all the jobs to be destroyed and the wealth of individuals and small businesses, even large business? Airlines are going out of business. It's crazy. Do they want to control us that much? Do they not want us to fly on planes? Do they not want us to explore the world and have a good time while we're here? I don't know. But they're always attacking medical doctors and scientists who disagree with the pharma medical cartel. Why does the authorities attack these doctors? In fact, I'll tell you about a doctor that was sacked 40 years ago for exposing what was going on. But they really are, don't care. They allow pharma authorities to criminalise or even ignore proven natural health. Like I said about vitamin C, 50,000 people every year die in in the UK hospitals. That's UK hospitals, 50,000 people. And all they had to do would give them vitamin C and sodium bicarbonate and magnesium, and a majority of those, according to studies, would have been saved. Why don't they do it? Because they don't care about people dying. Judge them by their actions, not by their words. And there's many more, and I feel terrible going on about it, but when I started writing this list, I thought, ugh. So anyway, but they're using brainwashing techniques, they're using slogans, they're using indoctrination, that exactly the same as the Nazis used in the 1930s, because when the Nazis came to power, they didn't just come to power saying, we're going to kill everybody, you know, and start a world war. They said to the people, all your problems are caused by because it's a socialist, national social, that's the word Nazi means national socialist. This is used by all the wealthy people, taking all your money and stashing it for themselves, and it's all caused by them, and the wealthiest of all are the Jews, and so they're the worst of them all. And you know, they used all these slogans and whatever, and finally people were brainwashed into believing them, and because the Nazis got in power by a vote, you know, a democratic vote. They didn't get into power because they took power. But the authorities may be drunk on this power, and like the 1930s, if this power goes wrong and it becomes fascism, and fascism can be left or right. Remember, the Nazis were left wing, and it could just as easily be right wing, because they associated with the right wing dictator in Spain and the right wing dictator in Italy, and the right wing government in Japan. You know, they it doesn't matter whether it's left or right, and what they want to do is subjugate you, all free thinking people, to make you frightened, to make you so frightened that you will do exactly what they say. And I'm not very happy about it, as we, you know. So what do we do to restart our life? How do we start back? Well, we've got to take control of our lives. You've got to take control of your thinking. Don't let the authority rule your thinking at all. You've got to realise that they do not care about you. They don't care about you dying. They care about taking control over your life and over the power of your life. Luckily in the USA, they have a written constitution, and it says the natural rights of life and liberty, which are unalienable. Now, unalienable means that you can't give it away if you wanted to. They are enshrined in law, and it's an unalienable law. But most of us have just got inalienable rights, and these can be taken away. In fact, we think we have a Bill of Rights in the UK, but we don't. It's just a scam. It's a smokescreen. We could have had the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, because that is unalienable, but we didn't. Oh, we could have made it unalienable. But so our government instead signed up to the European Convention on Human Rights, which I promise you is not worth the paper it's written on. They can take it away. Judges can rule something completely different, and it's really not worth anything. So you have to, if you like, in your mind, take control, become free in your mind, free from all these people. Now, the latest scam is test, track and trace. And what they do is, you're supposed to have an app. In fact, everybody's supposed to have an app, and it's been supplied by Google and Apple, or that really honest and upright corporation companies. And what they're doing is, if you've been near somebody that had coronavirus, you have to go under house arrest for 2 weeks. Yes, that's true, because the mobile phones will eventually link up, and you'll be identified. At the moment, it's a manual, part mobile app, part manual, and it's not really going to work yet. But the goal is to have everybody's phone talking to each other. And when you have been near to this person, you have to go under house arrest for 2 weeks. So then you come out and you've not got coronavirus, fine. Then you happen to speak to another person for 10 minutes, and then you go home, and then you find out that that person had it, and so you've got to go under house arrest for another 2 weeks. Can you see? They will be frightening you to death. You won't want to talk to people. You won't want to listen to people, because they will, literally put you under house arrest at a whim. Does it sound crazy? Well, it's no more crazy than destroying a country for an outbreak of just another flu virus. So what can we do? Well, we can share the truth with everyone you know, as well as my articles and videos. Please share them. But there are dozens of doctors creating videos on YouTube you can share. I don't know who believes me anyway, except people that have known me for a long time, because I've been helping people for 30 years. But, there's many eminent doctors, even Nobel Prize winners that are saying what I'm saying. They don't say it as strongly as I say it, but they are saying it. And these need to be shared. So you need to share all these videos. If you see a video, send me a link, a good video. Send me a link, because I'll download it. Because what is also happening is that the videos are being banned off YouTube. And especially the ones that are really, really close to the truth. If people sound crazy, they don't seem to take them off. But when the minute a doctor starts getting close to the truth, and an example of this is a Dr. Vernon Coleman. In my newsletter, I've got some links to some of his YouTube videos. And 40 years ago, in fact, over 40 years ago, he actually lost his job as a medical doctor, because he was exposing a lot of the things going on. And of course, it doesn't matter whether it's 40 years ago or last week, doctors are not allowed to break ranks and tell the truth. And so he went private for a while, and he wrote books and exposing the whole thing, and he's retired now. But the coronavirus has brought him out of retirement. He's younger than me, but he retired. And he is back now making videos, try to explain what's going on. So he's definitely worth. He's not like me; he's a very quiet spoken. He just reads from his script and everything. But very, very truthful and honest person, and very brave actually, because nobody's going to sack me. I mean, they might put me in jail, but they won't sack me, because I'm beholden to nobody. Anyway, he's a good man. If you can get back to earning an income, whether you were retired, it doesn't really matter, because interesting times are coming. I don't want to frighten people, but if you can get out and earn an income, even a minimum wage, the more, if you like, money you have, the better, because some hard times are coming. What they've done to the economy of the country. Personally, I would rather sweep the streets. Really, I'm not exaggerating. I would sweep the streets, because I think it's a really nice thing to do anyway, to keep the place clean and tidy. But rather than take a penny on minimum wage, than take a penny from government, and I keep fit as well, of course. So saves me doing my exercises. Lastly, get healthy. All of my ebooks are free to download. naturalhealthynews.com. You can get healthy recipes at reallyhealthyfoods.com. Whatever your budget, we can help you devise a plan. And if you haven't got a budget, we can still help you devise a plan. So we never say never, and we never say always. So you've got your 4 critical lifestyle actions. I say it every week. Take all the supplements that you can possibly afford. Get out in the sunshine, preferably walking. Get as much skin exposed to the sun as possible, because sun is the bringer of life. In fact, there is no life on the planet without sunshine, but it comes into your body and gives you life, and gives you vitamin D3 in its best form. Just an hour and a half in the sun with lots of skin exposed will give you 20 to 30,000 IUs of vitamin D3. Oh, wait a minute. The government tells you to take 400 IUs a day. That's silly. If the sun gives you 20 to 30,000, that's what you need. 400 IUs, I would give that to an infant, a newborn baby in drops, because they need it as well. And in fact, at least there are some doctors starting to say, we have to give D3. When I was born, I was given D3 and vitamin C free by the government for the first 6-7 years of my life. I can't remember what it was now. That shows you this is not new. I'm going back 74 years ago when I was born, so it's not new knowing this. But of course, the reason they don't give it you now is because the pharmaceutical industry do not want their paid employees, also called politicians, to tell anybody that really it's nutrition that they need, not their drugs. You need bacteria on a regular basis, Not every day. To begin with, if you've got a serious health problem, but then once a week is fine, actually. You need to breathe properly, and the best way to breathe properly is walking. Not sitting down, walking and walking. On my newsletter, I have all the immune products that I recommend. Obviously, I design them all, but you must remember that healthy people don't die of flu, coronavirus, or actually any disease. If I really want to be pedantic, you have to become unhealthy to get a disease, and when you get a disease, you're at risk of dying. If you're not unhealthy, then you can't get a disease, and if you can't get a disease, you're going to carry on living. There will be a time when certain things give up on your body. I don't know when that is. My hero is 107 and runs half marathons, 13-mile marathons for charity. So, tell him that you can't do such things at 107 years of age. But anyway, if anybody that can't afford anything, if they take rock salt and sodium bicarbonate every day in water, they will be better than most people just eating a junk diet and not taking supplements. Please share on my newsletter. There's places where you can share what we're doing and share it as a far and wide. You can even share it on Instagram or Twitter, but I hate Twitter because I can't stand the twittering comments I see there actually it's a shame, but I know they've been programmed and they just become crazy people. But anyway, I think that's about it for the day. I think you probably had enough ranting from me. Please, as I say, share. You can ask me questions anytime. It's robert@goodhealth.nu if it gets through. Google's been causing my emails not to get through recently, but that's you can get me on the on Facebook anyway. Facebook still seems to be okay. I don't know. I think it's because it's a group. If I was doing this maybe on the main Facebook pages, but it's because it's my personal group. I seem to get away with it. Anyway, you take care. I shall be back next week, and look after yourselves. Take care. Bye.